Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Before I go on to my talk, I want to thank you all and let you know. I mean, one of the purposes, I actually, this visit, I had come on a neurology conference. It was actually a clinical neurophysiology conference, and but I wanted to meet all of you. I wanted to meet all of those great people who had signed and helped that petition become a success. The petition to release Aafia that crossed over 1.5 million signatures. And I just wanted to personally come and greet you and thank you all for your support, because without that, it would not have been possible. And don't think and don't be disheartened. And I will show you the success that we have managed to achieve with that, even though Aafia remains inside. I'm always inspired by this ayat. I know everyone has their inspirations from the Quran, and for me, this one has a lot of meaning, and I tell that to all my students as well. And it's just أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقُّ. But you know what? Do you really think that you've been created for nothing? You know, just useless. We just came into being, and we're gonna eat and sleep and do whatever we want, and that's it. That's the end. You're really mistaken. Everyone, each and every one of us, each individual has a purpose. And there is a purpose in life, and I think the successful ones are those who have found that purpose. And they move on. And what inspires me about our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a struggle, and every time I feel disheartened, it is his life and his footsteps that give me solace. When I get dejected, when I go somewhere and someone, doesn't give me the attention that I would want, especially with our politicians and all, and I keep knocking at their doors, and I keep knocking at them, and I feel disheartened or so. And then I think of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who, I was never ridiculed, and no one threw garbage on me, but he never complained. He continued because he knew what he was saying was haqq, and he continued with his efforts, and he continued saying La ilaha illallah, regardless of all the abuses that they did. They stoned him, you all know that, and that's what inspires me. And then I get up again and I say, I have to keep saying it. I have to keep saying it. Otherwise, every time I say, this ummah has gone. Look what's happening everywhere. It's hopeless. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to go to any other programs. And then I think of that and I'm like, am I on the path of haqq? And then I get up and here I am. So, and really, I must say, Manchester, Leicester, both were very inspiring, but London, you've outdone yourselves. So, I think Brother Jamil has already, how does this work? It goes down, okay. So, who am I? I'm Aafia's sister. That's how you all know me here, right? No one cares if I'm a neurologist or an epileptologist or anything you can't pronounce. So no one cares if I directed the epilepsy program at Johns Hopkins or, I was, America's Registry of Best Professionals and, had platinum shields and awards and that. In the end, why are you all here? For Aafia. But since that word is bothering everyone so much, I'll just show you what I do. So these are my patients. I mean, if there was sound, you could hear it, but regardless. This is one of the worst forms of epilepsy. It's a myoclonic generalized tonic-clonic seizure. But these are seizures. These are bad ones. And imagine if any of your loved ones, or if you have something like this, how awful you would feel, and how scary this is. Just look at this. And I treat these. I treat these with medicines, and they can sometimes be so bizarre that. So we map them, and we treat them with surgery, with lasers, with neuromodulation, and with medications, and simple pills can sometimes just change the life from having to go through this. And imagine how embarrassing this would be. And so that is what I do, and that is what epilepsy is. So that's what I do, okay? And that's what epileptology is. Okay, that aside, that just came up because of that. So I'm Aafia's sister. So the question is, who is Aafia? And you've heard Clive talk and her ordeal and what she is. So I will share something very personal about my sister. So I'm Aafia's sister. And so from a neurologist, though my parents, they said they'd never imposed any career choices on them, though, Clive says every Pakistani he sees there has to be a doctor there. So, but they always said that whatever you do, make sure that it's substantial and worthwhile. So I thought that, I would help humanity through medicine. And, but fate and destiny put me in a totally different, right directly in 2003, straight in the deep end. From someone who was an introvert, someone who was a nerd, a book nerd, and all her report cards would say she's a quiet girl in class, she needs to socialize more, and that, to suddenly have to face all the cameras in the world and suddenly have to stand up in front of the world's largest superpower that you can think of. So then the Aafia movement came on, and as you can see, there's my mom, and she's passed away now, but first it was just her and me, and Aafia was gone, and then to the Million March, and a whole global, and all over the world now, a global movement. And go on. Back to my little sister, Aafia. So that's Aafia, and as a little baby, as most girls, the passion and love of her life were dolls. Every size, every that, every doll over there. The big one with the white hair was, I think, Daisy, and the other one was Joanne. And anyway, she loved dolls. And as it is with any household, the brothers here, if they remember when they were younger, and the younger ones here, and the sisters here, any one of you have older brothers or brothers? Don't they love to make your life just miserable? If you wear anything, they have to find fault in it, right? And anything you say, oh, look at you, the way you're sitting, the way this, or, it's kind of a universal thing. So it was the same in our family, and, for my brother, it was very easy. Because for my brother, all he had to do was, since the dolls were her life and joy, he just had to shake one of the dolls. And there Aafia would be screaming, and in Urdu and in English, oh, my dolls. And she learned, she was little, like, 3, 4, and she said, she got shaken baby syndrome. Because my dad was a doctor, and there was this big case in where we were, and so she learned that, and she thought that, every time her dolls will be shaken, they will probably die, their brains will burst, and oh my God, if you would turn the doll upside down, oh, that was. And since my father was a neurosurgeon, he had to operate on the doll and fix it, and it was a big issue. So, and me being the middle child, I could just sneak out and not get into the middle of that, because, and then he had so much more fun teasing him that I kind of got the easier part of my older brother. But anyway, the thing is, from that, she became my amazing sister and an amazing student. And anywhere she went, other than dolls, she had one more thing that she loved when she was little and even to this day. Animals. We had dogs, and this is just Shaggy over there, okay? But other than that, there was Leo, GB, Tony, and there were seven dogs, 2 German Shepherds and a Russian Samoyed and all of those anyway. Never mind the dogs. And then we had 11 cats and rabbits, and they're all, and then pigeons. And the cats want the pigeons and the rabbits, and then, so our house was like a full chaotic zoo mode. And swans, and geese, and guinea fowls, and turtles, and anything Aafia would find on the streets. Now, her passion for animals was so much that, when she saw, a dog just panting in the street, it was rabid. And she brought it home. She had a cut in her hand, and, its saliva went in and she got exposed. So at that time, there weren't those immune globulins. You had to get 14 shots in your stomach every day. And that's painful and horrible. And she had to get all of those. But that didn't deter her. She still went on and brought all kinds of strays in the home. And that's how they accumulated into anything. It wasn't, I'm glad she didn't bring snakes, but she's brought in iguana, and all kinds of animals. Anyway, wherever she would go, she excelled. She excelled in academics. These are all her school certificates. And every single event you need someone to carry her cups. She just gets so many of them. And, when she went to America, she was in the National Dean's List. And then from Aafia to Dr. Aafia. She did her doctorate from Brandeis, and she did her undergraduate from Massachusetts. Those are her degrees. And there she is, proud little Aafia. A happy moment, and, what was she thinking? Little did she know that, and with all of that, a Hafiza and an Alima in Quran. And then Shadi, right? And then from dolls to children. There's little Ahmed, and there's Maryam with the mouth open, and there's little baby Suleiman. So he was born prematurely, and he was very, very sick. And there is Aafia. Okay, now a lot of these don't have hijab on it. These are taken inside, but I just wanted to show you what she was inside. So you've got to realize that these are not outside. These are very private moments of our life that I'm sharing with you, because I thought my being here, that is what you would want to see rather than what's out there. So please excuse those, and I hope Aafia will forgive me too, because I hope that this will be a means for her coming home, inshallah, with all of your efforts and everything. And then comes 2003, and imagine, just imagine. Now this is this person who cries even if a doll is shaken, and who creates hell. Imagine how she would feel with her own children. Imagine what, Aafia was the person who, when we were in Pakistan, and when she was in Pakistan, and my mom would do a lot of philanthropic work, and so when she would go with her and she saw in the slums of Karachi, and that little children standing barefooted, torn clothes, and standing, with cans, tin cans, and waiting in line just for clean water. And if you give them something to eat, they're all like coming up, and you can see how it is in Gaza and everywhere. So, and she would just cry, and she said, I need to do something. And the best way that she knew was open up her mom's purse, or, empty out dad's pockets and just give them everything that you have. But then, my parents sat with her and said that this is not the way to do it. You have to find a passion. You have to do something substantial and worthwhile, and something that will last. You have to bring about a change. So see where your passion is, what you can do. So when she was like 15 or so, she said, oh, that's easy. One, either I marry a millionaire and I'll use all his money, right? Or I can go into some big business and become a millionaire and use all my money. And then she realized that to do all of that, she needs more education and she needs more experience. And so then she comes to the US. Our brother was already in Houston, so she comes there. And then, she experiences things. She says she's going to go into genetic engineering and invent something, and create something that's going to end poverty. So everything was aimed towards ending poverty in the world. And just make life good for these little children, the little children. And then that's where she found her passion. She found her passion when she met Noam Chomsky. And when she met Noam Chomsky at MIT with his linguistics, and then she said, that's it, I know. In 3 decades, 30 years, 3 decades, from the deserts of Arabia, from an orphan, from the deserts of Arabia, gave a call, and Islam spread to 3 continents in 3 decades. And why is it that we are today the third world? And she said that's because we don't have an education system that educates. It's a system that makes you literate. But, ummi laqab hai sahib-e ummul kitab ka. Being illiterate is not being wise or, being jahil. So, and she said, I need to educate. And education is a way of life. And then she went to Brandeis, and then she did her master's and PhD in education and how children learn. So that was her thing. And her thesis was on learning through imitation. And Clive went on with the technology stuff and all of that. So that's all. So you get where her passion came and what she was doing. And then she gets married, and then she has her little children. And as she's going, she's taking this education system with her to Islamabad, and then, her little children. So just imagine. So this is a mother with 3 children going in the cab. 5, 6-year-old Ahmed, 3.5-year-old Mariam, right? And in her lap is the infant Suleiman. 6. So they snatch Ahmed, they snatch Mariam out of the car, but the baby. Can you imagine how she could not let go of the baby? Both her hands were there. And when he snatched the baby from her, just imagine what would have happened. It was the only one she could hold close to her. But even he was taken. Those little children were taken. Imagine someone who couldn't even bear a doll being shaken. Imagine her own children who could not see. Poor children in the streets barefoot. And her own children taken away. Snatched away. And then not knowing where they are. Not knowing if they're alive or not. Just imagine, anyone who's a mother here can well imagine, any father here can well imagine, that the worst form of human coercion, the worst form of torture. Just, you don't need to do anything. You know, when I got Ahmed back, and I asked him how, how badly did they treat you? I saw a burn mark here and, like marks and shackled marks, and his legs were, and I said, oh my God, and, just pampering him and that, and he just looked at me, tears rolling down his eyes, and he just held my hand and he said, Auntie, yeah, they could have tortured me even more than this. I would not have even complained if they had just left me with my mom. And I just sat with him and we just both cried because, imagine the father. This was the son saying, if only I was with my mom. Imagine what she went through. Imagine what anyone would went through. Imagine what I went through. Ahmed was my son. He was my, in Urdu they use the term ladla. So Ahmed was just very close to me, and when he was going from the US coming to Pakistan, I was still in the US, and he wouldn't let go. He said, keep me here. I don't want to go. I think he says that something's going to happen. And I literally pushed him to his parents, and I wish I had kept him, and that guilt was eating me. And it was like when Ahmed wasn't there, it felt like my own son isn't there. And anyway, it's just too painful. So she's sent to FMC Carswell. And there, let me see something. Oh, I know. I know something I can do. Just a minute. There's a brown box somewhere here, I'm sure.
This may have to do. I'll see if I can. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's it. So you know what Clive told you about FMC Carswell. So when I went to see Aafia over there, the exterior is so beautiful. It's by the coast, and it's these beautiful lush green lawns. And there's like a river, kind of a stream, and there are ducks in there. It looks like a very peaceful place as you're driving there, the drive to FMC. It's like and then the barbed wires come. And then when you go inside, and when they take you through that little passageway to the admin unit, the stench of like rotting blood, like the liver, if you leave it outside and it gives this kind of a stench, it just hits. God knows how many people are tortured and how much blood was shed over there that it just hits. And it's so rough inside. And so compared to the meticulous, exterior. And, when I got to see her, perfect. So, this is all we need. So anyway, that was, sometimes I wish I didn't see her. Because I did not. You've all seen that picture of Aafia slumped like this, with her hair there, and you say, oh my God, how much she's been tortured. That's 2008. 2022, it's worse. And it's like, kind of like, I wish she was looking like that than what she was here. I could not recognize her, but she recognized me. And she looked at me, and the first thing she said, "Bachcho, aap to pehle se bhi zyada dubli ho gayi hain. Salam ke baad." And she called me Bachcho, so which means like older sister, respectful way of saying. And she said, "You've become skinnier than you were before." That was the first thing she said. And there I am standing there holding back my tears and my emotions, and I'm saying, oh my God, where is Aafia? Who is this standing? What have they done to her? Where is Aafia? Where is Aafia? And then when she says that, obviously I know that she's in there, but all I'm seeing is the skeleton, like of a 90-year-old, eyes sunken in, her beautiful big eyes, and that, I don't see any of them, there were like little beads inside, and it was was a sight that I wish I had not seen, because I close my eyes and it comes in front of me. You talk of PTSD, it was something. Anyway, so I just want to ask you guys, what is this? It's a brown box, right? So what's so important about this brown box, and why did I go around everywhere and Clive go and bring this brown box? So why is it important in our life? What makes this brown box so important? So I'm going to just read out to you something that my brother wrote for all of you. And it is the true story of the brown box. It's just an ordinary cardboard box. Not big, not too big, not too small, nothing special. It was the kind of an everyday box used to package everything from priceless objects to toilet paper, right? That's what this is, this nice little box. Everyone, brothers, can see this box. Okay, so a few months ago, I came home one evening to find this box waiting at my front door. It was odd. I had not ordered anything by mail and was not expecting any other delivery. Unfortunately, these days, finding an unexpected box is more cause for fear than curious excitement. But then I noticed on the side it had printed in large writing a name and a number in one of the best examples of penmanship I have ever seen. The name was one I recognized. I was momentarily paralyzed. How or why would someone send this package to me? I took the box inside and did not know what to do with it. I was both apprehensive and curious. I checked with lawyers and friends, but for some time I just let it sit there in the entryway in my home. And every day when I came home, the box stared at me, and I knew I wanted to open it. Finally, one day, I decided to open the box. Nothing special or auspicious about the day, just another day, but it seemed that it was time. Inside the box, the contents were sloppily thrown in, contrast to the neatness of the handwriting that adorned the front of the box. Surely different people must have handled the contents and labeling. No one could be both rash and sensitive at the same time. As I slowly removed the contents, one by one, my hands trembled. There were 2 folded white scarves, several envelopes, writing pads with half-written thoughts as if the pads were snatched in mid-sentence. There were letters from people from as far afield as Australia and Hawaii, from Pakistan and Arkansas. And there were partially written letters to people who would now never get them, even though the stamps were right there. And incomplete poems for which we would not know the ending. There were articles from magazines carefully clipped to highlight what? It would not be known. In the middle of this, there was a Quran thrown in the pile. It had been meticulously tagged by its reader, who would no longer be able to use these references. The rest of the box contained items of food, from tea bags to cookies, sealed fish and snacks. Sustenance no longer destined for the person who stored it. I went through the items carefully at first, almost scientifically, as if handling a lost treasure, cataloging what I found. But soon, as the items became personal, the reality of what I had in my hands hit me, and it hit hard. You see, the box had come from FMC Carswell Medical Center in Fort Worth, Texas, and the name on the side of that box was my sister Aafia, number 902-79054. This box contained all that remained of the worldly belongings of Aafia's life. This is what she accumulated during her time at the institution of the House of, which is known as the House of Horrors, FMC Carswell. It hit me that without warning, one day someone took her away. She She was stripped search naked and taken away with nothing but her body. And I was reminded of what it must be like to die. All the things that are left undone, the things we think we will finish the next moment or the next day, the favorite clothes, the favorite book, the favorite meal. In the end, when they take you, it is you alone they take. For a while, I could think of nothing else. But then, I realized that for Aafia, this was deja vu. Back in March 2003, Aafia had her whole life snatched away from her. Her 3 young children were taken away from her, from the streets of Karachi. How must that have felt? You lose the things that are most precious to you, even more precious than your own life, your children. The youngest one only 6 months old. So when I heard that Aafia says that they killed me every time they transfer her, I realize now that it's not just a metaphor, and it's not just a metaphorical sense. But now I see it is as much more physical an expression. Just imagine how many times this may have happened over the years of her captivity, when we have witnessed it at least 3 times in the open, non-secret years. Okay, back to the brown box. Because the story does not end here. The box stayed in the entry, contents placed back inside. Then one day I saw the box and thought of the pharaohs, how they built the pyramids so carefully, stored the contents of the world inside with a meticulous exterior, and the contents are shoved inside. So too the brain box, simple clean exterior and meticulous writing outside and the contents thrown in. But there was a difference, a big difference between the pyramids of the pharaohs and the brown box of Aafia. Those were planned. This reflects of how life ends abruptly. In reality, even the pharaohs would have had brown boxes if they had at that time. But now, the brown box was becoming, it was just sitting at the entryway. So I took it up to the attic to store it. That's where all brown boxes go, don't they? Here, it found company among other boxes, which contained pieces of my life. Forgotten memories and material possessions that I had not seen in years, and probably will not even remember until and if I see them again. But I hang on to them, as if they and I will someday relive the good old days. And it struck me that I had dozens of brown boxes and they only filled the forgotten pieces of my life. And here was Aafia's one brown box that was now representative of her entire past life. I left the brown box in the attic, but had trouble sleeping. One morning I woke up and brought it back down and placed it in my study, out of the way but in full view of where I sit every day. You see, I could not just put away Aafia's life in the attic and let it become another forgotten piece of my life. I have to see it every day because my sister is in my thoughts every day. And as long as she is alive, the brown box will be waiting so she may complete those letters, those poems, and drink that tea. So for now, the story remains incomplete, waiting for an ending, with a prayer that God make this ending a happy one. So do we have okay?
We have sound now.
You have sound as well? Never mind. So that's FMC. This is the admin unit where, Aafia is. That's the brown box. And if anyone is curious as to what this strip search is, so it's a norm in the prisons. And this is what they do to their own. So imagine what they do to our sister. So sisters here had said that if I would please read out one of the poems from the brown box. Would you like to hear it, or are you too tired? Okay, so I call this an invitation from prison. So this was actually present in the Quran that was in the brown box. And I'll read this poem out to you. So I call you, sir, to what is true, and that's because I care for you. I care for you. I care for your people like you, and pray for them and others too. To God to guide us on his way, to him I cry and humbly pray. To keep us firm and in his care, let not the fire be our share. Put paradise in our fate and guide us now before it's too late. So I request you, sir, please think. For we are standing on the brink. What I say here, please don't ignore. Please, as I may say no more. Think, sir, what if Quran is true? Then what choices are there for you? Believe, and it will set you free from the worst of human slavery. In full devotion, slave of one, free of the rest of everyone, and safe for all eternity in total peace, in serenity. Where we have all our heart's desire, never to finish nor expire, it's that or an eternal fire. For disbelief, a torment dire. My sir, someone as smart as you must read this book. I hope you do. My sir, someone as nice as you must choose the truth. I pray you do. The truth from God and the work of men are mixed up, but cleared in Quran, God's final book, preserved and true. It's secure in guidance, mercy too. It's like it was written just for you. And this was one of the poems in her Quran. And I think that, so the other question was, what can we do? We are just, most of the citizens says, what can we do? We're just one person. So if every one of us sitting here, there are over 400 people saying, I'm only one person, that means there are 400 people here saying, I'm only one person. Imagine all the 800 billion. So, united we stand. There's something that everyone can do. And as I said, that your du'as and these hugs of yours, they bring me life and sustenance. I know that you're all there. You give me strength. Your words of support. And it's not just me. I have friends, family, and I have all of you who are able to do that. Imagine when I went to see Aafia and they put this glass there and handed me a phone. And I was like, what? After 20 years, I see my sister who I can barely recognize, and it was like a shell of herself, and I can't even hold her hand. I can't even give her a hug. All you sisters here were coming and giving me a hug. Said, we don't have words, sister. Can we give you a hug, right? I see my sister after 20 years, and they expect me to sit and talk on the phone. What would I say? But, so the hugs mean a lot. And so please, there is a pledge on our website, and do make that pledge so you keep remembering that, Aafia is, keep the brown box there, that, she is our sister, and she will, inshallah, come back and complete all her dreams, and she will bring a change in this world. She has brought a change in a lot of lives. She has brought a change in my life. So please do join that pledge. We'd love to show the world that there's so many people with us in this movement. And please, if you have your phones, please do scan that. But before you scan that one, why don't you scan this one first? Because we desperately need followers. Our YouTube channel was hacked, so we've got to rebuild it. Come on, brothers and sisters, you can help with that. Just give us, make us, you cross the petition on 1 million, show that the Aafia movement is more than 1 million. Show that, like it, follow it, comment on it. and you'll get updates on everything, every event, everything. These are the only ones that are the official. Anything else with Aafia's name is not from the family. So these are the only ones, so please do take it, take a picture, please forward it to all your friends and everyone. And I just want to say that, with all the investigation, all the information, had you asked all of this to me, in 2015 or 16, before Clive had done all of this, I would have said your guess is as good as mine. Why Aafia? What happened? What was the thing behind it? He did all that, and that costs. I mean, traveling costs a lot of money, and investigation. You have to hire investigations, and I mean, all these students and 64 of them living out there the whole summer. I mean, obviously they do eat something, don't they? So it's all comes to it. So even though Clive is pro bono and he says he doesn't take anything from, and he never has, and obviously even never asked for anything. But I think we feel that, in order to help our sister, we need to help him. We need to at least, take care of expenses, travel, and that. So please, this will go straight there, and you can see your donation, and you can see where it is. And so please scan this. And if there is anything in your heart and anything that you can, please encourage other people as well. Letters for Aafia, you've already seen that. So please, dear sisters, please reach out to anyone and everyone. Now the other question that's been coming up a lot. You're all asking me, what happened to that petition? Why did we fail? We didn't fail. We didn't fail. Biden failed. Look, we believe in our efforts, and we will be rewarded for our efforts. And trust me, every signature has been counted. And that whoever puts their trust in Allah, then Allah alone is sufficient for them. Certainly, Allah achieves His will. Allah has already set destiny for everything. There is a set time. And when the time for kun will come, it will happen. Kun fayakun. And when it is written that Aafia is to return, she will return. We all pray that it's in our lifetime, and it's sooner than later. And Ya Allah, we are impatient, and it's been a very long test. And Ya Allah, please make it. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. But the tawakkul, and that is what I have learned from Aafia. And speaking of tawakkul, and after this failure, I will share one last poem which Clive got on an email after this. And it was like when we are all dejected. This is what Aafia writes. Listen. Persevere, persevere, for patience, persevere. Above all, God, my heart's revere. No matter if the storms is severe, persevere, persevere. Far as it seems, help is near. So long as God, to me dear, the tide's on high, hold on, don't fear. Persevere, persevere. Perseverance is God's cheer. Prayers, God is near, right here. Despair not, the sky will clear. Persevere, persevere. This is Aafia telling us from prison that don't think your petition has failed. Persevere, persevere, persevere. Jazakallahu khair for your patience. Sorry, I took more time than I should have.